Andor is the best show I've watched in the past decade. That's 10 years for those in real Indo. Andor troubled my thoughts and visited my dreams. It's that good, and possibly that important. Let me tell you why. You don't have to be a Star Wars fan or even a sci-fi fan for this show to speak to you. Andor can pull in viewers of all kinds just from its sheer ability to show oppression against a people, and in this case, a galaxy of people. The dedication to the look of the production, the director's top-level attention to continuity, the actors' diligence, but mostly the intelligent writing sticks the landing for me on this show. You probably already know that Andor is the prequel to the movie Rogue One, and Rogue One is the prequel to the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope. And when I first watched the original Star Wars, I thought that it explained why it was subtitled A New Hope. And it sort of did. But Andor shows us why it was indeed A New Hope. Because at that point in the timeline, hope against oppression in the galaxy was non-existent. Most of us are normal people with normal jobs going about our day. We aren't soldiers or sailors or pilots or law enforcement or government officials, FBI, CIA, ISB. And in free countries like the US and Britain and sometimes Australia and Canada, sometimes, we go along to get along. In other countries, you are forced to go along, just like in the Star Wars Empire. And most of us in the modern world have never been put in those situations before. The present day you and me, in free countries, that is. But you can ask history about it. You can read about what was done to the citizens that suffered under Stalin and Mao, Hitler and Castro, and many others. Those that make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Oppression still happens to this day, in our lifetime. There's an excellent bit of writing in Andor called Nemik's Manifesto. It says, alone, unsure, dwarfed by the scale of the enemy, freedom is a pure idea. Everyone that's watching this has been oppressed in some form of minute fascism at some point in your life. At work by quote-unquote superiors, by the company's first-come, first-serve HR department, within your family, in your social structures, by your government, by law enforcement. Someone has oppressed you, and you may not have even noticed it, but you felt it. You probably couldn't put a name on it at the time because it had never happened to you before. But affable, you say. That was in the far past, in an unruly time when we didn't really understand human rights. Yeah, okay. Maybe. What about COVID then? We all understood human rights just 6 years ago, didn't we? How quickly, during COVID, did they just shut everything down for your safety, for your benefit? Put on that mask or you can't enter. Keep 6 feet apart or you have to leave. Don't dare say that the government or your employer's HR department is incorrect in their steps to stay COVID from spreading, or you'll be canceled and unemployed. A people should not be afraid of its government. The government should be afraid of its people. Everyone is affected, from the highest persona in society to the homeless, from the boardroom to the ditch diggers. Everyone is affected. And one day it will hit you, regardless of what side you are on, that, oh my God, I am caught in this web. What do I have to do? What do I have to sacrifice to get out of it? And sometimes, it's all you got left. And that oppression makes you act in ways that your normal self would never consider. It pushes you to that limit, to that event horizon, to the point where there is no coming back. But possibly you can just carry on, you might think to yourself. Keep quiet while looking for the truth by comparing their lies.
D'abord,
Nash kumbe orstan so rêve Kinex.
so rêve.
But the Empire, the government, it was legally elected and run by the Senate. All those smart people couldn't have fallen for it, right?
But they were all of them deceived.
And that's the reason I tell people to watch Andor. We have all been deceived at some point. But a few people I've recommended the show to have similar arguments. There's no action, it's not real Star Wars, there's no force or lightsabers. Alright, I guess I can see that if you just watch cursory an episode or two. And by cursory I mean you turn it on and you're fiddling with your phone, or you turn it on and you're dealing with your kids or pets, or you turn it on and you're prepping dinner. You can't do that with this show. There are too many subtleties you have to digest to grasp its intention, and you will be rewarded for it. So let's look at these arguments, starting with there is no action. This is from the Season 2 trailer or preview, of course. And just in this little segment you can see that there is action. But if you're looking for nothing but action the whole time, it's meaningless. And I'll just refer you to any Dolph Lundgren movie, because action without meaning is a meaningless show, and not worth watching. And Andor is not one of those. Every action sequence has a reason. Here is an X-Wing coming into view that obviously is from Star Wars, as are these Imperial transport ships. Here's a Bantha that the Tusken Raiders ride from Tatooine. So when people say that Andor isn't real Star Wars, I think what they mean is that it's not the familiar lightsabers, a plucky hero that knows the Force that saves the day with ease. Andor is Star Wars from the items, ships, blasters, droids, speeders that are used by everyday people that can't rely on the Force or a Jedi coming to save them. These people die if they mess up. Yes, other than this scene right here, there is no shown Force in Andor. It's true. But the Force is implied with different scenes. But Andor doesn't want the Force in here, because the Force is nothing. The Jedi are nothing. They can't come and save the galaxy like they did in Star Wars and Return of the Jedi and all those other shows. Because if Andor didn't happen, those other storylines would not exist. The Jedi are nothing without the bones of the dead of the people in Andor to stand upon. Lightsabers, the Force, Yoda, Luke Skywalker, Vader, the Sith, the Jedi, it's all safe and cozy for the cursory viewer. Sit down, casually watch a film, you know which way it's going to go. The real Star Wars, the real rebellion, is in the cracks of ships, the blood-stained clothes, the bowing of heads, and the taxing of not just income, but dignity. If you want comfort when you watch a Star Wars themed show, watch Ahsoka, watch Mandalorian, hell, watch the prequel trilogy. But don't you dare watch Andor. Don't watch Rogue One. Because every beginning has a birth, and birth is painful and bloody. The rebels in Andor are no different, if you have the stomach for it. Andor and Rogue One are the parents in the hospital witnessing the problematic birth of a child that may kill itself, and the mother. The rest of Star Wars is a glossy pastel sky, funny droids, stormtroopers always miss, happy bullshit Ewok celebration, where it all works out. Andor is the Star Wars line in the dirt that most parents and snowflake puddle people alive today don't want to cross. The majority of Star Wars thus far is cozy, family-friendly, make-believe for those wanting a momentary respite from their 9-to-5 grind. Andor and Rogue One are different Star Wars. They are the war in Star Wars. I think a lot of people don't like that, because deep down in the recesses of our voting attenuation, we all know it could really happen. We all know that just 6 years ago a natural disease took away our freedoms, took away our rights. It oppressed us, and we took it. And maybe that's why the viewership on Andor and Rogue One are not as high as the claptrap Mandalorian. Because who wants to watch their own decisions? Their own ill-fated decisions that many of us made? And perhaps that's the reason some people don't like Andor. Not because there's not enough action, or it's not real Star Wars, or there's no Force. It's none of that. It's because Andor, it's a little too close to home.